"Are you the King of the Jews?" asked Pilate. "You have said so," Jesus replied. Very early in the morning, the chief priests, with the elders, the teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin, made their plans. So they bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. "Are you the King of the Jews?" asked Pilate. "You have said so," Jesus replied. The chief priests accused him of many things. So again Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of." But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Now it was the custom at the festival to release a prisoner whom the people requested. A man called Barabbas was in prison with the rebels who had committed murder in the uprising. The crowd came up and asked Pilate to do for them what he usually did. "Do you want me to release to you the King of the Jews?" asked Pilate, knowing it was out of self-interest that the chief priest had handed Jesus over to him. But the chief priest stirred up the crowd to get Pilate to release Barabbas instead. "What shall I do then with the one you call the King of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. "Crucify him!" they shouted. "Why? What crime has he committed?" asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him!" Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified.
I remember feeling quite shocked on hearing that during his last few weeks in office as president, Donald Trump was going to have several prisoners on death row executed, simply because it was his prerogative to do so. He could have chosen not to do it. I wonder if we feel quite as shocked when we read the passages about Jesus' crucifixion and the events leading up to it. Or have we become so familiar with the Easter story that we've become dulled to the horror of what Jesus was willing to go through for us? Has it lost its impact because of over-familiarity? Are we so familiar with it that we no longer actually think about what happened because we have the security of knowing that it ends with the joy of Easter Day and his resurrection? Imagine you as someone hearing for the first time. These passages would shock you. How could this happen to Jesus? You've just read of all the good things he's done. So why does it get to this? Trial, brutality, and crucifixion. Mark's account is quite stark. Basic facts, no embellishment. We need to fill the gaps in for ourselves, picturing it in our minds. The Jewish leaders, chief priests, elders, the whole of the Sanhedrin, have finally reached the point where they want to be rid of Jesus. They haven't the power to have him killed, so decide to go to Pilate. Pilate interrogates Jesus, starting with the question, "Are you the King of the Jews?" Jesus simply responds, "Yes, it is as you say." Jesus is not boasting, he's simply stating that he is God's Son. In other words, the Messiah. The chief priests accuse him of many things, but Jesus remains silent. So Pilate asks him again if he's going to answer. Wouldn't it have been a different story if Jesus had made excuses or pleaded his innocence? But he doesn't defend himself, he remains silent. He knows the Old Testament prophecies. He knows the passage in Isaiah 53. Like a lamb led off to be slaughtered, he does not open his mouth. He knows this is God's plan, And he's doing this for our sake, so that we can have a relationship with God. 3 times in these 15 verses, the title King of the Jews is mentioned. For Jesus to be king, there must be a kingdom. This is why the Jewish leaders and Pilate, the Roman consul, fear him. They have no understanding of what Jesus meant by King of the Jews. We, thankfully, with the knowledge of the whole Easter story, understand that Jesus is the King of the kingdom of God. He is willing to go through this ordeal because he wants us to be part of the kingdom of God. Perhaps as we read and hear the events of Holy Week, we will be aware of the price Jesus was willing to pay for us to be part of his eternal kingdom.